All right, our objective for today, I can factor polynomials. Read together, 1, 2, 3.
I can factor polynomials.
All right, so last week we started with GCF and LCM, and we talked about like the roadmap that it got us to where we're at right now. We said we covered real numbers from the beginning of the school year. We got to expressions. From there, we went to one variable equations, and then one variable inequalities. From there, we moved on to systems of two variable equations, two variable inequalities. And then from there, we went back to expressions because we said we're about to get into systems, but now involving quadratic equations. So before we got into quadratic equations, I said I was going to revisit polynomials. Yes? So I can factor polynomials. Our main concept for today is what? Polynomials. So by now you should know the definition by heart. Don't say it out loud. Write it in your Freyer model, please. Definition for polynomials. Polynomials are what? Don't say it out loud. Keep it to yourself. Once you have that, write at least one or two examples. One or two non-examples. Hashtag or hashtags. You're like, I remember this. Well, some of you. All right, share with your neighbor your definition, see if they have something similar. So I heard Danelle from over there say monomials or somewhere different than monomials. Hands if you got something like that. That is correct. Let's go. So make sure you write a couple of examples, non-examples, and some hashtags. And underneath that, write steps. For today, we're going to come up with the steps together after I do a quick think aloud for one of the problems and walk you through the second. Okay. Once again, steps underneath the Freyer model, write steps, and then I want you to leave 1, 2, 3, 4 blank lines for the steps, and then I want you to write example number 1. Before we get to example number 1, I just need to cover a couple of terms that we started with last week to revisit those, and then we'll move on. All right, you can finish up your Freyer model later. That's fine. Here we go. Look up to the screen. So the two terms that I want to revisit are these. Write your utensils down, look up to the screen. The first one, factors. Last week we said factors are two or more numbers that multiply. Is that correct? Today we're going to look at them as two or more numerical expressions or variable expressions that multiply. And of course, if they multiply, they give us a product. For example, two numbers that multiply, let's see, or two numerical expressions. 2 times 23. 23, Michael Jordan. Are they multiplying? Yes, that means these are called what? Factors. And these are numerical expressions because they only have numbers and operations. Okay. Now let me look at variable expressions that multiply. 4x times 2x plus 1. This is one factor, this is another factor, and both of them are called factors because they're doing what? Multiplying. Everybody understanding so far? Okay. Next, the other term that I want to get to is this one, factoring. Look up, please. Now, some of you are going to hear factoring or factors, and even though it sounds similar, they're not the same. Factors are multiplying. Factoring is a process of finding the factors. For example, let's say I gave you the number 6. Who can think of one factor of 6? One factor of 6. Julian. 1 factor of 6. Mel. 3. Other than itself. So 3 is one factor. Now, if I was to ask you to find the other factor that would pair up with 3, what would be the process that you would do to find that other factor? Everyone. Divide. That's why if we divide, what is 6 divided by 3? 2. The process that I just did is called what? Factoring, also known as dividing. Factoring is what? Dividing. So we're going to be dividing factors or polynomials. I'm sorry, we're going to be dividing polynomials to find our factors. Okay? So with that said, copy this, example 1a. It reads, example 1a, factor each polynomial and check your answer. Factor each polynomial and check your answer. Please. Factor each polynomial and check your answer. All right? So just copy that. I'm going to do a think aloud so you guys can follow along. And then I'll have you guys copy the process. Okay? Write your utensils down. Look up to the screen. Nanelle, can you get the lights, please? All right, here we go. Y'all ready? Here it goes. I'm going to do a think aloud. So please pay attention because that involves all the process. Ready? Here it goes. I'm given the problem that says factor each polynomial and check your answer. Well, I already know how to, well, once I get the process going, I know how to check at the end. I know what factor each polynomial is. The verb factor, which tells me to do what? Tells me to divide. Okay? So, if I'm given this, what do I know about this polynomial? What's so important to observe? This polynomial is from highest to lowest degree, and I know that's called, okay, I think I got it. So from there, if I need to divide this factor, one of the factors could be, for both terms, could be 1, but the greatest one has to be 2. So now I can divide the whole by 2. One of my factors is 2. So what is 2 divided by 2? 1x squared. What is negative 4 divided by 2? Negative 2. And that's how I find my 2 factors. However, it says to check. How do I check? Well, what is the inverse of what I did? I did division. The inverse is 2 divides. So let's see. What is 2 times x squared? 2x squared. What is 2 times negative 2? Negative 4. Does that give me this? Check. Yes. Copy that, please. Let's go from the corner. All right. So most of you already copied this, and some of you said, this is simple, Mr. Q, but some of you are still a little bit iffy about it, right? Now, in first semester, when we got to the rules of exponents, I said, when in doubt, factor out. So I'm going to write over here on the right side a factoring process using prime numbers or prime factorization. So I'm going to write factor out. So check this out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rewrite this one, but I'm going to use it in 2 different terms. One term here and the other term here. Therefore, I'm going to first write my prime factorization of this one. This is a prime number, so that is just 2. How do I write this one? X times x. All right, what are my prime factors of this one? Well, it has a negative first, so this is negative 1 times what else? 2 times 2. Do you agree with that so far? All right, so with that said, Remember last week when we did this? What is the same here and here? 1, 2. So that means that is my GCF. What's left for this term? X squared. What's left for this term? Negative 2. And these are my factors. 1, 2. Copy that, please. Once again, I'm showing you both so that in case you feel a little bit uneasy with your response, once again, when in doubt, factor out. Do the prime factorization and see if you did the correct work with your other method. Okay, well, just to recap the process, I said, what was the first observation that we made about this polynomial? Tell your neighbor, please. What was the first observation that we made about this polynomial? All right. So, from there we did this, from there we did this, from there we did this, and we were done. So, example 1b. Copy this one. Example 1b. For this one, you don't have to copy the instructions. Just copy the expression. I'm going to zoom in. All right. Let's see. By looking at this one, look at it. Tell your neighbor the very first thing you would do for this one. Go. All right, let's see. Who's got it? Fatima. Bam. She said you will flip them. Or rewrite it in what form, everyone? Standard form. That is correct, standard form. So we need it in standard form. Fatima from the corner. So then we end up with what, everyone? Negative 12x to the second minus 14x. Is it in standard form already? Yes. All right. Pass it to someone, Fatima. You're going to find what you're going to divide them by. What is that called? Greatest common factor. That is correct. So, Luca, what is our GCF for these two? What is it? She said 2. Is that it? Close. X. Close. Is that it? Negative, because both of them have a negative. That is correct. All right. Therefore, let's see. What is negative 12 divided by negative 2? 6. What is x squared divided by x? X. And what is negative 14 divided by negative 2? 7. And what is x divided by x? X divided by x is 1. So what is 1 times 7? 7. So it's already in there. So therefore my first factor was what? Negative 2x. And my other factor is 6x plus 7. These are my factors. Are we done? No. Tell your neighbor what's the last step. Check. How do we check? We distribute. Let's see. See if it's true. What is negative 2x times 6x? Negative 12x squared. Okay, there it is. So far, so good. What is negative 2x times 7? Negative 14x. Did we end up with this? Check. That is correct. Are we doing? Good? Okay, let's do another one. Let's do example MKQ. Let's do 46Q to the 4th plus 23Q to the 6th power. Find me the factors, please. Copy and go. All right. Share with the neighbor, see what you got so far.
I got divided by 22 times 5
All right, let's see. Marissa, what is the first thing we did for this? So tell me what you write. And we did that. That is correct. This is standard form. What do we do right after Destiny? Divide by what? Identify the GCF and divide. So what was our GCF, Destiny? 23 Q to the second. Hands if you got that. Close. Once again, when in doubt, factor out. How many Q's would this one have here if I was to factor it out? How many would this one have? So how many do they both have in common? 4. So this is Q to the 4. Hands if you got that. Okay, good. And once we divide, let's see. My first factor was 23Q to the 4th. And let's see what we end up with. 23 divided by 23 is? 1. Okay, here it goes again. 23 divided by 23 is? 1. Q to the 6th divided by Q to the 4th is? Q to the 2nd plus 46 divided by 23, 2. Q to the 4th divided by Q to the 4th is? 1, and 1 times 2 is 2, so it's already in there. Therefore, these are my factors. Write that down, please. And are we done? No. How do we check, everyone? Distribute. Let's see. 23 Q to the 4th times 1 Q to the 2nd. Thank you. What? Pizza?
That's homework.
Home plate.
That's homework. Because you got to work on it at home.
Let's see. Mel, come forth. Isaac, come forth. Yeah, is there something about pizza? Free pizza?
Oh, when? Wait, when? Right now?
No, probably at lunch. It says 23 times 1 is 23. Q to the 4th times Q to the 2nd is Q to the 6th. And then 23 times 2, that's 46. And then Q to the 4th. Did we get the same thing here? Check. Yes. All right. Show me what fingers how comfortable you are with these. Okay. All right, let's come up with a process. Yes? All right, let's see. Steps. Where you wrote steps. Who can get us started? What would be step 1? Mel. Bam. Write in standard form. Standard form. All right. Step 2. Yes. Find the GCF and divide. Very good. Step 3. What did we do for step 3? Let's see, let me go back. So first, standard form. Step 2, find the GCF and divide. Step 3, what did I do here? Got it. Isaac says check. That is correct. That's step 4. Check. Step 3, Julian. Very close. Let's put it just in simple words. Mel. Write your factors. That is correct. Fairly simple process, yes? Make sure it's in standard form. Find the GCF and divide. Write your factors and check. Okay? All right. Let's kick it up a notch, yes? Let's see how you do with this next one. Example 1C. Let's see how you do.
I don't get it.
Nice. Example 1C, it's 8x cubed minus 4x squared minus 16x. Copy and go. You got 30 seconds. Finding my factors. Fatima, pick someone. Avro. What do I do? Divided by 2x. Hands, I'm sorry. By 2x. Hands if you agree with that. Close. What is our GCF, Samantha? 4x. Because all 3 terms can be divided by 4. That is correct. So, yes. Negative wouldn't work because the first term doesn't have a negative. Okay.
So say like the negative 4 is like the first term, and then it would be negative 4.
So then if the first term has a negative, then yes, you divide by a negative the whole thing. If all 3 of them have a negative, you divide by a negative the whole thing. All right? So what do we have left? Let's see. One of my factors is 4x. What is 8x cubed divided by 4x, everyone? 2x squared. What is negative 4x squared divided by 4x? It's negative 1x. And negative 16x divided by 4x, that is negative 4. And these are my factors. How many factors do you see? 2. 1, 2. The reason I keep writing it because still some people look at it and see, well, I see 4 factors. No. This one has 3 terms, this one has 1 term, but it's 2 factors. This whole expression is 1, this one is the second. And of course we know how to check, yes?
Yeah.
We go this way and we should end up with the same as we did here. Yes? Okay, do another one. Don't copy this next one. Just look at it. Example 1D. Don't say it out loud. Look at it. First of all, it is in standard form. Identify the GCF. And think about your 2 factors. Once again, you're not copying this, yes? All right, tell your neighbor the factors, please.
1.
Okay, what was GCF, Esmeralda? 1, that is correct. So we're left with 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 10. And these are my factors. We good? All right, copy this next one. Kick it up a notch, yes? Let's go. Here we go. Example MJ super duper Q. 72 x squared y to the 5th minus 9x fourth y to the 2nd minus 3xy plus 3x y to the third. Copy that, and I'll give you some time to find me the GCF first. I'm sorry, go through the process. Is it in standard form, everyone? No, so the first thing would be to rewrite this. Tell me what to write. Michael, go. Uh-huh. 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 That is correct, and this is standard form. From there, Julian, what's our GCF?
GCF is 3xy.
And if you agree with that, that is correct. All three numbers can be divided by 3 at least. All three of them have at least one x and one y. Therefore, my factors are 3xy times, let's see, what is 72 divided by 3? 24. X squared divided by x is x. Y to the fifth divided by y, that's y to the fourth. Next, negative 9 divided by 3, that's negative 3. X to the fourth divided by x, that's x to the third. Y to the second divided by y, that's y to the first. Next, what is 3 divided by 3? 1. What is x divided by x? 1. So that 1 times 1 is still there. What is y to the third divided by y? Y to the second. Look at this one. What is negative 3xy divided by 3xy?
1.
Negative 1. And we're done. These are my factors. 1 factor, 2 factors. And we know how to check, right? Okay? So, our home plate for tonight is on pages 523 through 525 only. I will be here only about 15 minutes after class, after school, because I have a meeting to attend to. But those 15 minutes, we should be able to cover at least one of each of the different problems, in case you need to see it again. All right, guys, since you're at home plate, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.